Welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a little bit of a break from NHL 23 and we're going to do a season prediction video. So I'm going to do the Stanley Cup and all of the awards. I got some wild cards on here and it's tough to get. I tried not to choose the favorites every time, but I think these predictions are pretty good. So let's get right into it. For the Stanley Cup, you know what? We're going to do the Stanley Cup last. Let's move on to the President's Trophy. For President's Trophy, my prediction could have been Tampa, could have been Toronto, could have been your Ottawa Senators, but I'm going to go with the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, no shocker here. They're just so damn good. It's hard to bet against a team like the Colorado Avalanche, led by Nathan McKinnon, Cal McCarr, Gabriel Landeskog, who is injured right now, but still, he'll be back. Mikko Rantanen added a new tendy. I mean, Devon Toews is looking good. Just a bunch of superstars on that team. As for the Prince of Wales and Clarence S. Campbell, I will keep those separate until we announce the Stanley Cup. So we'll skip those as well as the Conn Smythe. So the next trophy, kind of the biggest one, the individual trophy, is the player that is the most valuable player to his team. So the Hart Memorial Trophy. And for this one, I was thinking, you know, a lot of people are probably going to have Matthews here, rightfully so. Nikita Kucherov, Cal McCarr. But I think the favorite for this should be the player named Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is my selection for the Hart Trophy as a prediction. He's the most dynamic player in the NHL. Every time he steps on the ice, it's dangerous, no matter how hard he's trying, how little he's skating, how much he's skating. It's just McDavid is out of this world, and he is one of the best players the NHL has ever seen. And I think this year he gathers the Hart Trophy. Last year you could have made an argument for him, but it ended up going to Austin Matthews ultimately. But moving on from the Hart Trophy, we have the Calder Trophy. So the Calder Trophy is the trophy for the best rookie in the NHL. And this one, again, there's so many different options. I mean, Shane Pinto's a rookie for the Ottawa Senators. You have the first overall pick last year, Owen Power, who is a great selection for it. You also have the picks from this year who you can kind of predict and see. Jake Sanderson, I know, is up there. But I'm going to go a little bit off the board here, and not by off the board too much. I'm going to go with Matty Berners from the Seattle Kraken. So far, he's looked really good. I think he's in an area where he can really develop his skills, and he's going to be getting a lot of minutes playing for the Kraken. So the Calder Memorial Trophy, my prediction is Matty Berners. If I said his name wrong, I apologize, but that's okay. Moving on to the Vezina Trophy, and I think this is kind of a 3-4 goaltender duel. You got Sorokin, who plays really well and kind of the backbone of the New York Islanders. You got Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You have Ilya Shesterkin of the New York Rangers, who is an absolute phenom and kind of came out of nowhere. Yuli Saros. You got, can Jack Campbell do it? Don't think he can. You got Matt Murray for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But ultimately, for the Vezina, which is the best goalkeeper, I'm going to go with Andrei Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they just have one of the best all-around teams, and they have a really good defensive core, so that's going to help out a long way, especially with Hedman back there. So the Vezina Trophy prediction, Andrei Vasilevsky. Is really close to saying Shesterkin. Really, really close. I think Shesterkin had a really good last year, but I think Vasilevsky takes back the crown this year. And honestly, the Vezina, this is the one that's always a dark horse. You never really know. Someone just comes out of nowhere like Shesterkin did and kind of swoops up that trophy. Next up, we're moving up the roster a little bit. So from goaltender to defenseman, which is the James Norris Memorial Trophy, which is the award given to the best defenseman throughout the entire NHL season. And this, I mean, so many great players have won this. Roman Josi, Erik Karlsson, Cal McCarr, John Carlson never wins it. But other than that, I'm trying to think. There's so many options off the top of my head. I know who I'm going with, but I want to say Roman Josi is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. I think he could have won it last year. John Carlson. John Carlson has got snubbed of this trophy 3 times at least. John Carlson has been one of the best defensemen the NHL has seen, but he's so underrated playing on Washington. It's always Ovi, Kuznetsov, Oshie, Holtby when he was there and kind of playing really well. But the backbone of that team is John Carlson. He puts in 25 to 26 minutes. He's always out there, a great offensive presence, a great defensive presence, and he's kind of that all-around player. I would love to give him this award, but I think Cal McCarr is just on a different level. I wish that I can give John Carlson this, but Cal McCarr is by far one of the best players in the NHL. I mean, I put him right at 2 or 3 behind McDavid and probably Matthews. But Cal McCarr, I have winning the James Norris Trophy for the second consecutive year, and I think that's a good one. Art Ross is the player that had the most points in the entire NHL. And since I went with McDavid for the Hart Trophy, I'm also going with Connor McDavid on the Art Ross Trophy here. I was debating Draisaitl. Draisaitl is probably going to be up there with McDavid, but at the end of the day, if I have McDavid winning the Hart, I think he's going to lead the league in scoring once again. He kind of does it every year. Moving on to the Frank J. Selke Trophy, which is an annual award given to the forward who best excels in the defensive aspects of the game here. And I think it's not going to be a repeat winner, in my opinion, from last year. I think it's going to go to someone who's won this trophy several times, and that is the best player on the Los Angeles Kings, Mr. Anze Kopitar. I think Kopitar is one of the most underrated players in the game. He is exceptional in the defensive zone, exceptional in the offensive zone, and doesn't take too many penalties. One of the more underrated players, and at 35, I believe now, he's still going strong and off to another great start to the season. So that is my prediction for the Selke Trophy. Moving on to the Lady Byng. So this is given to the player that adjudged to have exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct combined with a high standard of playing ability. I butchered that, but that's okay. We're going to keep it rolling here, and I'm not going to give you any weight here. I'm going with Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau, Lady Byng Trophy winner. I think he's one of the best at it, to be honest. I mean, you never see Gaudreau slashing someone from behind and always playing at almost the highest level you can. Last year, 115 points. So definitely playing at a high standard of playing ability. So Johnny Gaudreau is my Lady Byng Memorial Trophy winner. He also won, I think, in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Next up, we got the Jack Adams Award, which is the award to the Coach of the Year, essentially. And for this one, I'm going with the Ottawa Senators coach. Ottawa will make the playoffs. So I'm going DJ Smith winning the Jack Adams Award, won by Paul McLean once upon a time, and several fantastic coaches, Bruce Boudreau, not John Gibson. Why am I saying John Gibson? Barry Trotz is what I meant to say. And I think Barry Trotz will end up on a team. That guy is unreal. But Jack Adams, I think DJ Smith's going to do a good job and potentially lead the Ottawa Senators to the playoffs from last year where they were a bottom feeder team. So that is my Jack Adams Award nomination. Next up, we got the Maurice Rocket Richard. And I'm not going too far off the book here. I know everyone's putting Austin Matthews. But I honestly do not think Austin Matthews is going to lead the league in goals this year. And now you're going to think Alexander Ovechkin. No, I don't think Ovi will lead the NHL in goals either. I hope Ovi gets 50 just because we all want to see him break that record. Next up, who's next? Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is not the person I am thinking that is going to win the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. I'm actually going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning sniper, Steven Stamkos. He's off to a hot start this year, and I think he's playing on a really good offense, which is going to help him severely help him try winning that Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. He's won it once in his career, but I think this is the year he gets another Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. So do what you will with that. I'm sorry, Toronto fans. I'm going to get absolutely ripped apart in the comments, but I'm okay with it. I'm going Steven Stamkos. The King Clancy Trophy next up is the leadership on and off ice. And for that one, as a hometown guy, an Ottawa Senators fan, I'm going with Brady Tkachuk. I think he's great on the ice, off the ice, does a lot with the community, and is kind of that spokesperson for the Ottawa Senators and gives his heart day in and day out. People may not like the way he plays, but I guarantee if you can have one on your team, you would love every aspect of his game. So I will move on to the next one here, the Ted Lindsay. So this is the most outstanding player in the NHL, voted by fellow members of the NHLPA here. And it took I wanted to put McDavid here, but I feel like McDavid's peers don't actually put his achievements to the same level as other people. For example, if Sidney Crosby did what Connor McDavid did last year, Sidney Crosby would have won the Ted Lindsay, he would have won the Hart, he would have won everything. But I feel like there's an aura around Connor McDavid where it's expected. So I'm not going to go Connor McDavid, but Austin Matthews won it last year, so I don't think the NHL will vote for him again. But Cal McCarr, he's been turning heads for a couple of years now. I think Cal McCarr is going to win the Ted Lindsay Award along with the Norris Trophy this year, and it would be well-deserving. Very, very good player, and it's turning into the face of the NHL for defensemen. So Cal McCarr is my prediction there. Moving on to the William M. Jennings, and it's basically the best goalie, essentially, with the fewest goals scored on, and we're going to give that to just the New York Rangers duo. Shesterkin and whoever the heck their backup is, I'm going with that. Next up, we got Mark Messier, NHL Leadership Award. And I'm going to give this to a player who's been around the NHL a long time, one of the best leaders, and I think is going to have a deep playoff run this year. And that's going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins captain, one of the greatest NHL players of all time, Mr. Sid the Kid Crosby. He is my prediction for the NHL Leadership Award. I think it's a great prediction, and we'll see what happens. But he's already off to a great start in this year, and I want to see him succeed. You know, you want to see Sidney Crosby succeed. He's been around for so long. He still has his core of Letang and Malkin with him. I think they're going to do good things this year, and I'm rooting for them. But not too much, because I remember what happened in Game 7 versus the Ottawa Senators about 6-7 years ago. That was a demoralizing day. Absolutely awful. GM of the year, you know, we're going Pierre Dorion. And this one's not particular because I'm a Sens fan. If you just look at the offseason and you look the huge moves that were made, Pierre Dorion comes to mind. He turned the Ottawa Senators into bottom feeders to potential playoff contenders and having an absolutely amazing future potentially. He did a lot of good things, signed Tim Stützle, signed Brady Tkachuk last year, signed Josh Norris, got a trade with DeBrincat, and just brought in Claude Giroux. There's a lot of moving pieces here. Got Sanderson on the team, so I think there's a good case that Pierre Dorion wins the GM of the year here. Moving on to the last trophy, the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, an annual award under the trusteeship of the PHWA, and is given to the player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. And news just broke today, so this is kind of the guy that I'm going to go with. Someone just got admitted into the player assistance program, and it's the Detroit Red Wings forward, Jakub Vrana. So I'm predicting Jakub Vrana wins this. I hope everything that's going on with him goes well and there's no issues. But that's going to be my prediction for that. NHL Foundation Award doesn't really get celebrated anymore, but that is my predictions for the awards. If I'm being honest, I looked at these awards, took a quick second, I'm like, this is who I think is going to win, this is who I think is going to win. So it might not be perfect. It might not be perfect, but those are all of my gut feelings for the awards. But before we end this video, let's start with the Prince of Wales Trophy. The Prince of Wales Trophy, the team coming out of the Eastern Conference Finals I have is the New York Rangers. Come on now. And on the other side, coming out of the West for the Clarence S. Campbell, I have none other than the Colorado Avalanche. And then for the Stanley Cup, I have the Colorado Avalanche losing to the New York Rangers in 6 games as the New York Rangers hoist the Stanley Cup with the Conn Smythe Trophy going to Mika Zibanejad. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who am I completely wrong about? Who are you surprised about? Who do you have winning the Hart Trophy and Stanley Cup Trophy? I think the Norris is pretty universal. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the NHL season. Go Sens, go. Let's go. I'll catch you next video. Cheers.